Yep.
So, welcome everyone to episode 2. We're going to get right into it. You guys last left off, and this is a little quick recap for all of you and for the chat here. Actually, you know what? I would actually like to see if any of you guys could give me a quick recap of what happened last time, maybe from one of your perspectives.
Guldu
Jinx,
had a good
go.
night's sleep.
Hello, still on the
Okay.
paper.
Also,
We woke
everyone
up in
try
the middle.
to not talk over each other. I know that I just did, but just be mindful of everyone.
We woke up in the middle of a giant desert. Nobody knew what was happening. We killed a beast and met some weird merchant slash non-merchant, who's still technically a merchant. We found the beach. Chad decided to be with Chad style makeup. On there. There's a boat. Okay.
That's about it. All right. 1 second.
I saw like this perfect meme about the merchant thing. I can't find it though.
That's all right.
The meme.
It's still unknown if he was a merchant or not. I will let you know right now. He was not.
He is a merchant. He's a secret merchant. He's a Chad style merchant.
Maybe he is. Yeah, that's true. I don't know at all. All right, so you guys woke up in a desert. You made your way out to the coast after following this oasis-like mirage thing. You met up with Vex, was his name, who was kind of scrounging through the desert looking for supplies and all of that kind of stuff. And he took you to the coast and said that he had this boat that he would be able to take you back to safety, where he's been staying with his companion on this island that's offshore. And he took you guys to the coast, and you got there and you found that it was just this little dinky rowboat, and he could only fit like 2 other passengers on it. So you all elected to send Elder and Kit instead of splitting up the party, which I might add is a pretty wise decision. So he took them and rowed off into the distance, and you all kind of hung around the beach, set up camp, got your supplies, made a fire. Donald killed the camel and cooked up some good old camel steaks, as one would, and went to bed after setting up the 2 guard shifts with Jinx and Darrow. Everything went relatively uneventfully until just before dawn, when Darrow started to kind of nod off against the palm tree that he was leaned up against taking watch. He spotted this gigantic ship coming over the shore, over the coastline anyways, over the horizon. That's the word I was looking for. So here we go. If you guys all have the stream pulled up, you should be able to see this. And this is the ship you see come over the horizon, and obviously it's facing the other way, coming towards you, but this is the only...
Yeah.
This giant galleon-style Navy ship coming straight towards you over the horizon, and Darrow screams with excitement and a little bit of curiosity and maybe even a little fear at the unknown, and all of you wake up. Chad hit his head on his little frost breath igloo, and this ship it's going pretty fast for how big it is, and it looks like maybe about an hour away before it's going to be able to launch some smaller vessels that people could come to shore on. What do you guys want to do in that hour to prepare for this ship that's possibly coming towards you?
Jinx will pack up Jinx's stuff, and then Jinx will sit down and watch the boat.
Okay.
I'm like, Darrow's like half in the water, just staring at it.
You like already started walking towards it a little bit, and you're like, oh shit, it's still a ways away, but you're just that excited.
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Daryl wants on that boat. He wants on it. He wants all over it. He wants inside of it, in all forms of the
Inside
world.
of me.
Chad, Gold, you anything that you guys would be doing in anticipation?
Goldu is packing his tent.
Okay.
Chad is he's doing his morning workout routine.
Nice. What does that consist of? What kind of CrossFit style plan you got going on?
Well, Chad skips regular push-ups and he just does like one arm alternating, and then he starts doing fingers.
Nice.
And then he starts just doing with his frost breath.
Oh damn, that's pretty badass. So is there any kind of like tail workout that you do? You like tail push-ups as well?
Oh yeah,
Very nice.
That's in there as well.
I figured that's definitely something
He does
Chad
he
would
does
do.
a bouncing spin.
Like a pogo stick style.
Yeah. He does like a spin as long as he can at the end, like a Beyblade.
Okay, that could come in handy with some barbarian moves. I like that.
Oh yeah.
Welcome to the stream, by the way, Vampire King. Good to have you here, Chad.
I was
all
just
right.
taking his turn. I'm having a great time.
Yeah, it's good to have all you guys here. So the ship is kind of encroaching. You're all packing up your things and just waiting. You can't really see anyone on the ship. It's still a little bit too far away, and like I said, it was just now kind of turning into dawn. The sun is coming up over the desert side of the horizon behind you, so it's really just starting to hit the water and cascade out and illuminate the sails of the ship, and it's starting to kind of turn sideways a little bit. The boat is, and it's not coming closer to shore anymore. It's kind of just found a spot that's just far enough offshore that it's not too close and it's not in danger of kind of beaching itself, I guess. And it stops, and you can start to see a little bit of activity on the deck of the ship. And this is not the boat that Vex said that he was going to come back and pick you up in. You can see at least there's already a crew of people that it would take to maintain this ship, and you can see them start to rustle around the upper deck of the ship. You can't see the name, but you can see that there's some artwork painted on the side of the ship, and it's a really dark, like almost grayish kind of rotting wood that's been in use for years and years and years, and it's painted with this almost mural, and there is a name inscribed on the side of the ship, but it's just too far away for you to read. And this crew, it looks like they are setting out to lower down some kind of crew rowboats into the water underneath the ship, and they are getting ready to come and board the coast. I guess they're getting off their ship and heading your way, and they set off to row towards you. Is there anything that you guys are doing?
Let me
So-
see. What do I want to do?
Like that, turn to the guys and say, I don't know if this is Vex coming back here. There's a lot of people, and if he had a whole crew, I don't know why he landed on this island alone in a rowboat with a big chest.
Goldu seeking the shadow in a wait.
What was that? You're sneaking off into a shadow?
Yeah, I sneak. I do not trust.
Okay. So roll a stealth check.
Oh, I'm not even roll 20.
Oh yeah. Everybody in the
No,
everybody in the chat, you could definitely log into Roll20 just to be ready to roll and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm already logged in.
Nice.
1d20, you
locked.
say, right?
Yeah, stealth check. So 1d20 plus your stealth and your proficiency bonus. Okay.
16.
So you kind of sneak off and kind of position yourself in the shade of this palm tree, slightly behind it, and the sun has still not fully come up yet, so you're pretty obscured behind this palm tree. And the crew from this ship are just kind of about halfway towards you guys now, so they really, you can't see them very well. You definitely can't see what they are doing or individual faces or anything like that. So I'm imagining you probably feel pretty stealthy.
Straight.
So
Ooh.
so Darrow said to you guys, I don't think this is Vex.
Well, why? It's a boat.
Correction, it's a ship that needs an entire crew.
It's a giant piece of
And-
floating wood.
No, there's a big giant piece of floating wood. And that needs lots of people to man it. Vex only mentioned one other person. I don't think, I'm just going to get out the water.
I don't know if there's any meat left.
I don't think y'all taking it seriously
Right.
enough.
Did you ask if there's
Hey.
any meat left, Jinx?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Jinx is
probably.
really worried about the boat. They are ignoring
no.
the boat.
No more meat. do eat everything.
How did you guys eat an entire camel in one night? This is some serious heresy.
And
I am hungry.
you look back and you kind of saw where Goldu like snuck off to behind the no. You see where Goldu snuck off to behind the palm tree, and he's wearing his pack, and you can see it's like bulging, and like a little sliver of a camel steak is kind of like sticking out the top of the pack, and he's just kind of like giggling to himself when he says that all the food is gone. But now the rowboats are getting close enough to shore that the crew is visible, and you can see that there's 10 of these rowboats full of these sailors, I guess we'll call them, that come off this boat. And there's 4 of them in each of these crafts, and they're being headed by this man who is like, you can see him from what you're probably a few hundred yards away, and you can see that this man is already standing at the front of his rowboat, like he's standing up on the ship, and one leg is like on the front of the boat, and he's like gung-ho, ready to come and see you guys on the beach, and he's about to jump off the boat when he's not even at land yet. He's just like full of moxie and charisma, and he has this little hunched man sitting behind him, and the guy sitting behind him has this kind of bandana on, and he's a little scruffy looking guy who's just looks really pissed off to be on this rowboat, and they're getting like the sea sprayed up into their faces, and this guy's just sitting there just like contemplating his existence. But the big tall man in front is like powering on, and he's just loving life, doing whatever it is that he's doing, coming towards you guys. And these 10 rowboats full of this crew and being helmed by this man, they get close enough to the shore that the crew starts to jump out of the boats and pull them onto the shore. And this man in the front who's holding himself so excitedly, he just, with the like smoothest step you've ever seen, goes from boat to the beach, and it looks like he wasn't even standing on like this swaying, rocking boat at all. He just gracefully steps off the boat and takes off his hat, and he announces himself, and here you can see on the stream now his name, and he says, "Ahoy, my name is Hicks. Hello, we've come here heading back on our mission and we noticed a fire throughout the night, and we came to check it out. I have never seen any living survivors in this desert or coming from this area before, so we had to come and see what was going on. Who are you?
Yeah, I'm gonna go find some bones.
Go find some bones?
Yes. If you don't know, tieflings eat bones and stuff like that too. Jinx will go find those.
So you're okay. That's fine.
Flat out ignoring the people.
Okay. So he
Not important.
he looks like visibly annoyed with that, but he's like still like such a charismatic person, and he's in like such high spirits that he kind of just turns to the next person, and the rest of his crew has filed in behind him now, and they are starting to circle around you guys and kind of surround you. And this is a crew of 40 sailors who are jumping off of these kind of long rowboats, and they've surrounded you. And Hicks, who he announced his name as Captain Hicks, he turns to Darrow, who is standing here, and he said, well, maybe you are the more sensible of the party that you have here. What are you doing here, friend? Where do you come from? My ship is returning on its voyage back to our home city. We just dropped off this delivery mission, this cargo mission that we set off on, and we're headed back after weeks of travel. And we noticed your fire, so we wanted to see what was going on.
Hey, Captain Hicks, we just kind of got stranded here. Our boat went down, and we just decided to make a fire on the beach. Nothing major. We're glad you're here, man. Maybe you can help us, give us a lift somewhere.
He says, sure, how your boat went down, you say. I really have never seen anyone stop here, so that makes sense that your boat must have gone down. What exactly happened to it? That's terrible to see another captain's ship sink. That's a sight to behold. That's sad. What's going on?
Well, unfortunately, we're kind of on lean time, so we didn't have the necessary repairs, and the ocean got pretty angry with us. So, those things happen.
Sure, yeah. I personally, I think that this is one of the more calm sections of the seas, but I guess anything could happen, especially to a less experienced navigator. But you're right; these things do happen. So you said you needed a lift. Where are you planning on going to?
Yeah, lift. Anywhere, honestly. We're kind of
name
lost.
The place.
Yeah, wherever you're going.
Well, we're headed back home to our home city. We could probably drop you off anywhere along the way, I suppose.
That would be perfect.
Well,
are your friends here sailors as well? What do you find folks do? And he gestures towards Jinx and Chad.
They're idiots. Don't
Jinx
worry
will
about them.
actually walk up to the captain guy while eating a bone. And do you know Vex? Anyone named Vex?
The name doesn't ring a bell. Who is this Vex? Is he part of your crew as well?
Crew? No. We don't know each other.
Okay.
And
you don't know these other people on the beach here?
No, we don't.
And now he looks very confused now, and he kind of looks at this little man next to him who is wearing the bandana, the little scruffy upset man who has been kind of standing at his left side this entire time. And he gives him a quick look, and the scruffy man just kind of nods at him and looks confused as well. But he says, okay, so what's going on here?
I'm
from your point of view?
As far as I know, this no, this guy must have drinking too much seawater because we didn't lose a ship. We woke up in the desert back there. You see that giant expanse waste of land? Yeah, that's where we woke up with like 2 more people. When we were trying to find a way, and we found these trees. We found a guy named Vax, and then he took 2 of our members to a place he said was an island of some sort.
Hmm. No island around here.
I don't much care for liars, and I'm sorry for ruining your lie, but people who could possibly save us or help us. Otherwise,
Well, this is
I
an
don't get it.
interesting predicament we find ourselves in, isn't it? And he turns to Chad and he says, "You, Dragon Man, is this true? What your friend says of awakening in the desert?" And he sounds like very sarcastic about that.
At this point, after like waking up, like from for the second day, Chad just thinks that this bow is like on his way here to like deliver him to like a tournament. So he's just basically just like, did that happen? I don't. Chad doesn't remember. I think I remember seeing that, but that could have just been a dream. Chad just wants to go to the tournament already. So can we get on the boat?
And at this point, Captain Hicks is like, he's visibly like pretty annoyed now, and he's like, "Tournament, desert, this is nonsense. There is no possible way any group, especially one of ragtag nonsensical wanderers as yourselves, could ever survive the desert. There is no life here, and there is no surviving the wastes of the desert. This is nonsense. Do you guys want to ride or not?"
I step up to Captain Hicks just close enough so I can talk to him without everyone hearing, and I say, to be honest, I took a job, and I was deliver these guys somewhere, and I'm not from around these parts, as you probably can tell by my ears, and yes, we lost our ship. The big devil man drank a lot of seawater because he's an idiot, and the big dragon's obviously an idiot as well. So we just need to drop off. I didn't want to tell you originally because it's a monetary gain. But if I'm willing to part way with some silver or some gold with you, if you can just drop us off at the nearest city.
And as soon as you kind of repeat all of that to him and explain yourself, and when you get to the monetary gain part, he kind of immediately takes a step back and twirls his mustache a little bit, and he says, "Ah, yes, I think I understand what you're getting at there." And he turns to the short man next to him, and they kind of lean in and whisper to each other for a second, and then Hicks stands back up and he smiles and he laughs, and he's like, "All right, I think we can come to an agreement here, but we don't have much room on the ship. You're going to have to stay in the cargo hold. I hope that's okay. It's quite a packed ship. We just returned from this cargo mission, like I said, but it'll be plenty comfortable. We have food and drink, and it's really not too far a journey back to our homeland. And wherever you'd like to go along the way, we'll drop you off." And he turns back to Jinx and he says, "I'm not sure what's truly going on here, but if you are to be believed, then I definitely have an idea of some people that would want to talk to you about this. And if you would like, I can bring you all to our homeland, and we can maybe set you guys up with some people that might be able to understand what's going on here."
I have a question.
Okay.
Is Guldu airing all this stuff?
So you are like kind of hidden and disguised behind a palm tree right now, and the scene is the 3 party members, and then they're kind of standing around where your like put out campfire was at, and then this circle of 40 sailors, and Captain Hicks is a little bit inside the circle, and he's standing here giving his speech to the 3 of you. No one has noticed you yet that you know of, Goldu.
Like
And-
water being noticed? Is there like some hiding place? Like I know Chad was getting down on some low plane or something. Can I sneak toward this to go toward the water?
You can try to just like kind of go around the circle of men as they're talking, and you can definitely attempt to try to sneak around them. Where are you trying to go to?
How far is their boat?
It's a good distance. It took these guys in their rowboats probably 15-20 minutes just to row to shore from the boat, so it's a ways.
Damn it. So I stay hidden.
Okay. So
I eat the camel. I eat the rest of the camel.
okay, so you pull out the last remaining camel flank out of your bag, and you just start eating while you're watching this all go down. So Hicks was speaking to Jinx, and he said, I don't know what's going on here, but I think I might know someone who could have some information if what you said is true. If not, it doesn't really matter. We just have to make it back with the cargo that we picked up, and I just want to get this mission over with, get back, get paid, and never come to this desert again. I don't know why we even stopped here. I'm starting to regret it already. And he kind of gives a chuckle at that one and shakes his head, and then kind of awaits for the response from you.
I walk back to, our 2 guys, and I kind of say to them, yeah, I'm pretty sure these guys are probably pirates, and I don't think that we should even make any aggressive movements or anything like that. And I say aggressive loud enough so Donald can hear it, so he doesn't,
Who's Donald?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm just messing with you, but so, yeah, I think he can probably hear everything, and he's watching you guys pretty intently. So he, even if he doesn't hear everything that's going on, I think he probably is getting the idea about what's happening here. Chad and Jinx, what are you guys doing?
I am eating more buns.
Okay.
Going along with it. I don't trust any of these people anymore.
So you're just kind of along for the ride at this point, not really caring.
Filled with liars and cheaters.
Chad's kicking the sand right now. He's very impatient. He's waiting for his administrators and admins to finally manage this and get him on the boat.
So Chad is like used to this like luxurious, like famous fighter life where he has people that kind of handle the day-to-day boring stuff.
Exactly.
Okay. So you guys are kind of all standing there, like, even though Hicks has like proposed this, like, to give you guys passage, you're all kind of just like standing around kicking sand and not really giving him too much to go off of. So he's like, okay, well, we're gonna go, so you guys can feel free to hop aboard one of these rowboats here, and the crew will take you and show you your quarters once we get back to the ship. Let's roll out, men. And
Finally,
he waves you all towards the rowboats.
Chad sprints.
Okay. So Chad, you make it down there first. You just kind of jump in and you hop in and sit down, and you're just back to the lounging life and hanging out in one of these little boats. As the circle of men kind of starts to disperse and head back towards the shore to get their boats ready and start to crew these rowboats and head back to the ship, one of them turns and heads towards the tree line a little bit, and he says, hey, Captain, I think there's something going on back here. And he sees this little piece of meat sitting on the ground,
Oh God.
and he
Impossible. Gold do not leave any rest.
and
Impossible.
he picks it up, and it's a little chunk of what appears to be cooked meat, and he says, "Captain, these guys had some food." And the captain turns back around. And he's like, that seems normal. What seems to be the problem here?" And he says, "Didn't they just say that they came from the desert?" And the captain turns around and he says, "That is true." And he says, "Well, take a look around and make sure that they aren't hiding anything." So this crewman heads back towards the tree line and is about to come in contact with the tree that Goldie was hiding behind. Goldie, you kind of obviously see this coming in advance. You're still hiding behind this tree. What do you do?
Can I sneak around without him seeing me? Can I try?
You can definitely try to do that. Roll stealth again.
1d20.
Correct.
$20. What my modifier?
Okay, so you kind of see this guy coming, and you start to walk around the tree the other way from where he's heading towards you from. And this is kind of like the classic, like when you're a little kid and you're running around a tree from your friend, you know, you're just running and like trying to hide behind the tree and block them from seeing you. But really, there's not anywhere else to go, and you kind of walk around the other side of the tree, and now you are kind of faced with, you can either kind of try to run backwards and go towards the desert, or you can try to come around this side of the tree and head onto the beach. But you can't make it to another tree in time to continue to hide from this guy before he kind of gets to the behind the tree line and can see back to where you're standing at. He hasn't noticed you yet, but you don't have long before he will if you try to continue hiding back here.
I can't make it to the water without him seeing me, right?
That's that one. You can try to roll again for that, but there is this giant crew of people, and it would be significantly more difficult to sneak past them if you're trying to get to the water.
Shame. Can I climb the tree and hide?
You can try that. That one, I'm gonna have you roll a athletics check.
Acrobatic, right?
Athletics, I think.
Athletic, okay. It's 1d20, right?
Yeah. So anytime you roll to hit or it's like a skill check, it's going to be a d20 plus whatever your skill is.
0 in athletic bonus and a 4.
Okay. So you see this guy's coming, and he is kind of circling around the tree and looking at the ground where this meat fell, and he's just kind of checking things out because the captain told him to just do a quick once over the area, make sure nothing's out of order. And you kind of spin around the tree to the other side so he can't see you, and you start to climb up, and you are trying to keep an eye on him and kind of juggle this backpack full of stuff and your tent that you've kind of finagled in there somehow, and you get your backpack stuck on one of the like scales of this palm tree, and you slide down and you're kind of stuck hanging there, and your feet are dangling and your backpack's just stuck on this tree, and you give out a little bit of a grunt, and the man like snaps his head up and sees you when he walks around the tree line, and he immediately pulls out this scimitar-ish sword from his side, and he yells for the captain and says, "Captain Hicks, get back here. We have another one." And the captain turns and grabs the crew of men that was going to board his little rowboat, and it's him and his short little scruffy sidekick guy and two other men. And they head up back there, and you now have this crew of men standing at the tree in front of you, and you're kind of still just dangling there by your backpack.
Hello, my friend. Do you want to buy some camel skin? Yes, cheap.
This as soon as you start talking, Hicks just immediately, like, he was very, like, almost afraid. You seemed like, you could tell he seemed like he was almost afraid in this, like, untrusting way. Like, he already was feeling a little weird about this whole situation, and then he wanted his guy to go check out this situation, and then he found something. So Hicks was already, like, freaked out and was like, what the hell is going on here? And he gets back and he hears you talking like this and, like, kind of trying to pass off as this merchant, and he just gets this huge smile on his face, and he's like, so that's how it's gonna be, huh? What's your name, friend?
Richard.
Oh, come on.
In Guldu, my friend. Where are you?
He offers a hand to help you down from the tree and to unsnag your backpack, and he sets
a
you.
very civilized person. Thank you. I would like to help.
He sets you down and kind of pats you on the shoulder and hands you your bag and says, "I take it you're with them." And he gestures towards your party, who are now boarding their prospective rowboats.
I offer him a piece of meat to thank him, and I say, yes, I followed these men because we lost in the desert.
And he kind of raises an eyebrow at that, and he's a little bit surprised. He's like, you are also on the desert side of the story. That's interesting. And he kind of takes the little piece of meat that you offered him, and he flips it like a coin, and it just lands right in his mouth, and he chews it up real quick, and he smiles, and he's like, that's actually not too bad. I appreciate it, my friend. I imagine that you were hiding just out of instinct, and I can understand
I was
that.
actually taking a piece, and I came back, and I was a little scared, you know?
Yeah, sure, that makes sense to me. I understand this. You see a giant crew of men on the beach where your camping is. I wouldn't want to just barge right in as well, so I understand. No harm done at all. We're just about to embark. Are you going to join us as well?
Sure. Can I ask some of you men to take the giant bow and arrow too? I want to sell them. Maybe you're interested.
He kind of sees the bow that you've been packing around as well. It's like strapped to your bag that he handed back to you now, and he picks it up and takes a look at it, and he says, this is quite a fine specimen of craftsmanship. I don't think I've ever seen anything where I'm from quite like this. This definitely wasn't made in any of the cities that I've been to. We could take it back to where we're going and maybe get it checked out and see what we can do.
Sweet. Thank you, my fellow giant.
He laughs pretty heartily at that one, and he kind of gives you a funny look, like raises an eyebrow, and he's like, you are an interesting man. And he kind of just nods off towards the beach, and he's like, let's get out of here and head towards the boats. So you guys walk down the beach, and as long as everyone is ready, we're gonna embark here and shove off towards the ship.
This is a bad idea.
Oh yeah, yes.
As Hicks is getting back closer to his rowboat, he actually sees the main party, and he overhears one of you say that I think this is a bad idea, and he just kind of tosses a nod your way, and he laughs, and he's like, I know it's normal to be afraid of the sea, but you have nothing to worry about. I'm the sturdiest captain in all the land, and you'll be just fine, lads. And he kind of just laughs and jumps back into his little rowboat and stands on the front of it again, and he's like, let's be off.
And I say loud enough for him to hear, I was at one point too.
And he either didn't hear you or is completely ignoring you.
Jerk.
So you all kind of are in 3 boats next to each other. Goldu kind of hopped on the back of the captain's boat as they walked down the beach together, and you 3 were all split up into these 3 separate little rowboats with the crew because they tried to balance out the weight. Each one of these boats is generally going to hold 4 or 5 people, and they were all like max capacity with the crew that all came and landed on the beach. So they shove off. The crew is kind of rowing their way out there, and each one of you is just on a standard rowboat with a crew of men on it. Darrow, you are on this small boat with 4 guys that are all rowing and kind of just taking in the scenery that looks like they may have not ever landed in this area before. Like the captain said, he said he never really stops here, and there's not often or ever any people, and he called them survivors, coming out of the desert. So you take it that these guys probably have never been to this area before, even if they are experienced sailors. And you're kind of just sitting there waiting to get out to the ship, and you're sitting with these guys. What do you do?
Goldu is looking around to see if there is some merchandise.
So Goldu, you're on the ship with the captain and his sidekick guy and 2 other guys, and they're all rowing. The captain's kind of throwing the boat off balance a little bit by standing on the front, but he is staying sturdy and not really paying attention to that. And his 3 other crewmen are rowing a little bit harder than they probably should have to be. But you don't really see anything. It's just some standard wooden rowboat, 2 bench-like seats, and then the captain standing on the front of it. The only thing that's really in the boat is your bag and the longbow that's sitting there beside you as well.
Is there any birds flying around above us?
From what you can see, it's kind of a little bit overcast. It's still very, very early morning. It's probably only been maybe 45 minutes since the crew landed, and now you're departing again. And remember, it was very early morning, so there's not really any birds flying around at this time. It's just barely starting to be fully sunlight out over the sea.
Chad is just dodging looks.
So
he's not rowing at all. He's just like watching everybody, but they're like looking at him, and he's not understanding why. He's like super heavy, and he's just like he's not doing a single thing, and he's used to everyone doing things for him.
Right, and so you they were kind of arguing over which boat was going to have to take Chad, and they shoved off, and you're the last boat in line. Normally they're like this formation that's really tight and together, like 3 boats in front, 3 boats in the middle, 3 boats behind, and then the captain's boat is ahead of everyone. And now it's kind of this like ragtag, just like mass of little boats, and the boat with you on it, Chad, is like way far behind, and it's like almost like sunk in the back a little bit because they just kind of put you on the back bench, and there was not enough room for you and another crewmate, so you just take up the whole back bench, and the other 4 guys are all like huddled together in the front of this little rowboat, and 2 of them don't even have a seat, and they're trying to row, and you're still just kind of like sitting back there just like, man, what's taking so long? Like, these guys suck at rowing. And they're kind of just like huffing and puffing, and every couple seconds they'll kind of turn back to you and just give you the dirtiest glare of all time, just like, how did we get stuck in the boat with the freaking dragon man? Darrow, you are obviously an experienced man of the sea. You're sitting with these gentlemen rowing you over to their ship. What's going through your head? David, it's 7 o'clock right now.
So I try to make conversation with these guys and figure out exactly what type of seamen are they.
When you say that to him, one of them kind of laughs and just he chuckles, and then he like immediately, like a wave of shame comes across his face for laughing at that, and then he just continues to row. And then another one, he kind of picks up and he says, "You look like the seafaring type. I'll be straight with you. We are kind of what you might say, mercenary. Like, we take missions from the city. People need stuff shipped. We take it to where it needs to go, and then occasionally we'll try to buy some stuff when we get there and bring it back and sell it ourselves. It's a little bit of a business we got going on here. The captain's kind of an economic type of a guy, so he kind of makes the plans, and we just help him man the ship."
So I say very plainly, you're not pirates.
And he is taken aback. He says, "How dare you, sir? We prefer businessmen of the sea." And he kind of shoots a wink at the guy who chuckled earlier, and the guy just shakes his head again, and they just keep rowing. But he says, "What do you know about pirates anyways? What kind of a sailor are you? What's your name?"
Oh, my name's Daryl, and me and my family over in the islands where I come from made it a real habit of murdering pirates. So, forgive me if I don't take kindly to mercenaries of the sea.
He said, "That's businessmen of the sea, and that seems like a great thing to do. Murdering pirates. I'm really excited to have you with us. That sounds really nice." And he's like, kind of fumbling with his words a little bit, and he's like, "Well, that's cool, man. You know nothing like killing people that you don't know at all. Yep, pirates are bad." And then he kind of just like shuts up and keeps rowing.
Just like nodding my head as he's talking. Uh-huh.
So, Jinx, what are you feeling? You're just on this crew. The men are slightly afraid of you, almost. You can tell, and you can tell because you obviously would be used to this. There's no sort of like bad, like ill will feeling coming from these guys. They don't seem like they are upset with you or anything, but they're just kind of rowing silently and like occasionally darting their eyes your way and kind of like just curious. And they may or may not be familiar with tieflings, and they look a little taken aback and afraid.
I'm gonna have a little fun with this sphere. I'm gonna take the closest person next to me, and I'm gonna cast my cantrip Doom, which it fills a single subject with a feeling of horrible dread that causes it to become shaken.
Okay. So how do you do this? Do you just lean over to the closest guy and kind of just cast this under your breath, or? Hello?
Oh.
Yeah, how exactly do you go about casting this spell?
I'm casting it under my breath.
Okay. So you lean over and you kind of, in a really creepy way to even add to the fear, you kind of turn to the guy next to you and you kind of whisper this spell at him, and the other two guys are already like kind of keeping an eye on you, and then they see their friend just like, he snaps his eyes open when he hears this spell cast on him. And what does the spell explanation do?
Oh, that's it. This spell fills a single subject with a horrible feeling dread that causes it to become shaken.
Okay, so he is like, he just looks like all the color drains out of his face, and he drops the oar that he was rowing with, and it just sinks under the surface of the water, and he just freezes and like starts to like tremble with fear and looks at you, and the other two guys are like, "What is going on? Jerry, what's happening? What did he say to you?" And Jerry like just turns both ways and just looks and sees that the closest rowboat is just a little bit behind you guys, and he jumps overboard and just immediately starts swimming towards the closest rowboat away from you guys. And The other two men that are rowing this boat are like yelling now, like, Jerry, what the fuck did he do? What is going on? And they start yelling towards the captain, and he's a little bit too far away to hear, but they're getting closer to the main ship now, and Jerry makes it back to the closest rowboat, and he climbs aboard, and he's now on the boat with Darrow, and he struggles and gets on, and they pull him up, and the men that were with Darrow are like, Jerry, what the hell's going on? What the hell's going on? And he is just too terrified to even speak, and he just lays in the bottom of this rowboat, and they keep on going. And the two men that are with you now are like, they're sitting as far back on their little bench in the boat as they can, and they're like really trying to row fast now to catch up to the captain and to just be the first people to get to the ship.
Make it worse, I will turn to them and smile as I tilt my head and tell them I only asked if he has any food for me to eat.
Your mic is getting a little bit crackly. If you can, I don't know if you can do anything, but you're fine so far. So you turn with this like sly smile after just horrifying their friend, and you ask if they just have any food they could spare. You're just hungry, and they kind of lose it at that. They're like, this guy is insane, and they just look at each other and they just ignore you and just keep rowing. And you're just about to the ship now, and the front of the pack has kind of started to get close and pull their ships up, and they're about to board the main ship here. Let me change the scene on the stream. There we go. So you're back onto the. You're getting close to the main ship. The back of the group is pulling in, and you're just about to get to climb up the rope ladder on the side of the ship, and you can see as you're coming in all this artwork, and it looks like this mural is painted on the bottom of the boat. Pringle, this is it's all made up here, yeah. You can see the artwork on the bottom of the ship. It's this giant mural that's been painted and is starting to weather away and wear away with use and wear over time. But it looks like just these armored men fighting against beasts and creatures and demons and other people. And it's just this giant battle scene painted across the bottom of this boat. And then you can see the name inscribed in this like fancy, like cursive white paint that even though the rest of the mural is fading, the name, it looks like, has been constantly repainted on and retouched up, and it still looks fresh. And this ship is called the Man's Ruin. And you all have got close enough to start boarding, and the crew has kind of climbed up the ladders first. They do it really quickly, and it seems like it's no trouble for them, and they get up to the top, and they start to help pull everyone up and start to load the boats up into the top deck. And they have a little section where they stash the rowboats and the escape boats, or whatever you want to call them. And they say, all right, you guys come on up the ropes. And you all climb up the ropes, and whatever they did to make it look so easy, it is a struggle for you guys. It takes you a good 5-10 minutes just to get up these things, and it is quite the climb. And you make it up onto the top deck of the ship, and Captain Hicks is awaiting you there when you get onto the upper deck, and he's standing there, and he's got one leg up on the side of the ship like he was with his rowboat, and he's like, welcome aboard, lads. This is the Man's Ruin. This is my ship. This is my life and my job. It's going to be your home for a few weeks as we travel back. We're not too far away. We've been much further, and it's nice to be close to home now. So we're heading home. I'll have my first mate Phil here show you to your cabins, which really is just our cargo hold, like I said earlier. But I'll have him show you to where you're going to stay, and then later on we'll get some food in you and make you comfortable. For now, I've got some stuff to do now that we're back on board. we've got to get ready to pull anchor and sail towards home. So we'll take you guys down and show you home for the next few weeks, and then I'll meet up with you later. Do you guys have any questions or anything before he kind of goes off and does his own business?
I'm good.
No.
How you guys holding up? You doing all right? Need to take a break or anything?
I'm
I'm
asking
good. I just I'm along for the ride. Jinx is Jinx.
I'm pretty good.
Goldu is asking the captain if there's a place to sleep in. What do you say that in English? Toilet? Where the toilet?
He's asking you. You're asking him where the toilet is.
Yeah.
He says like, well, when you go below deck, I'll have old first mate Phil there. I'll have him show you how it's done here. And Phil kind of just chuckles, and he says, yeah, you guys, I will. I'm first mate Phil, and he's this grumbly little old short guy with a bandana and kind of a ruffled looking t-shirt that's kind of patchwork together with rags, and he's just got some shorts on, and he has a knife at his side, and he's got another bandana tied around his arm, and he's very much like, as Captain Hicks is this big charismatic like fancy guy with like an overcoat and this hat on. Phil is like, he looks like he's lived on this boat for months, and he does not care at all about his appearance, and he is this rugged guy, and he's like, all right, I'll show you guys. The captain wants me to take you below deck to your quarters, so follow me. And he's still laughing about the toilet thing that the Goldu said, and he just on his way down the boat towards a door, he just grabs a bucket and continues on and goes and opens up the door and holds it open for you guys to head towards him, and you can see some stairs going down the door.
Straight.
Animal on the boat?
What's that?
Looking at the boat image here, is there an animal on the boat?
This image is like, definitely just consider it like a placeholder. Like there's no realism here, but you look around the upper deck, and you can't see anything right now. You notice there's some like scraps of food kind of on the upper deck, and it's not super clean, like for how put together and excited and happy and like how good of a leader it seems that Captain Hicks is. You notice that the ship is a little bit dirtier than you would expect for how many people they have to work on it, and for how charismatic he is. The ship is definitely not as well put together, and you kind of think that maybe there could be like a crew cat or something that lives on board, but you can't see it for now.
Okay.
So Phil's standing there holding the door open with a bucket in one hand, and he's got a grin, and he's just kind of gesturing you guys towards him, and he's like, all right, lads, let's check out what's going to be home for the next few weeks here aboard the old man's ruin. And I will I'll pull up this scene on the stream here if you guys can check it out. Let me see 1 second here. All right, 1 second. I don't know if I can hide the character portraits. 1 second. I didn't expect this. It shows everyone's character portrait at the bottom of the screen. But you're now on the ship and you're below deck. 1 second here.
Yeah, I think there's a way to hide it.
Most likely. Let me just find it really quick. How's everyone holding up in the stream out there? You guys enjoying yourselves? I hope you are having fun. Just give me 1 second here and we'll get this figured out. Players. Need to find a way to hide the players on here. I don't know how to hide those.
Is it hide player list?
You are a genius. Thank you. All right, so
Hey.
you are escorted down this stairway here. Can you guys see my mouse cursor on the stream?
Yeah.
Okay, so you are escorted down this lovely staircase here, and Phil kind of shows you. He points out these tables, and this is kind of the de facto mess hall here for when they have meals and they eat together. They don't really do a lot of formal gathering. You can take it. They don't eat together nightly at like some timed dinner service type of a thing. They all kind of just, if you get hungry, go down and grab some food and whatever. And so he shows you around, and then he takes you, and these kind of stall like areas here are just the cargo hold where they would normally place their cargo that they explained that they just dropped it off. Hey, Implosion, welcome, man. We're playing some D&D. Welcome to the stream. So
Interesting.
the cargo hold
But
is all
Still doesn't know where the poop room is.
so you guys are standing around, and Phil, the first mate, shows you this cargo hold, and he says it's not much, but you guys can set up your belongings here, lay out some blankets. I can probably try to find you some maybe chairs or whatever, but this is pretty much where you're going to be staying for the duration of the journey back home here. And then he hands you the bucket, Goldu, and he says, any room is the toilet aboard the man's ruin, unfortunately. And he says, if you head back that way and then back towards where my mouse cursor is at, towards the kind of the front of the ship in this lower deck here, he said we prefer you go into one of the private rooms back there. There's some storage rooms and some of the men's quarters that they stay in back there. You can go find a place anywhere, but throw your trash overboard, men, and try to leave the place a little bit better than you found it. I know the men upstairs don't do such a good job of that, but the captain's busy with stuff, so it's really my job to take care of stuff around here, Phil says, and he's like pretty upset about that. You can tell he's like, he doesn't want to be the guy who has to clean up the ship, but that's what he does. And he says, well, if you guys need anything, I'll be upstairs kind of helping out with taking anchor, and then we'll be off. But I'm sure the captain will send me down to get you here in a few hours after he's done his business and we're ready to take off. And he kind of looks around and makes sure you guys are good to go, and he leaves you to your new home, your cargo area, and there's just these little stalls where you can set up your gear and hang out. This is where you will be sleeping for the duration of your journey on the man's ruin.
I'm assuming there's candles or something down here.
Yeah, it's pretty well lit. There's windows that are kind of like you would expect like a normal galleon to have these like cannon ports, and it has these little windows, but there's no visible weaponry or anything. There's candlesticks and some windows around, so it's pretty well lit.
Are we alone on the lower deck?
You saw some people when you came down, and there's this guy that just sitting around, and I just put some tokens into the map just to make it feel a little more populated. Don't take it as like word or anything, but you can see there's people rummaging around, and if somebody gets hungry, they'll come down and sit at the table and have a snack or whatever, pull some food out of storage, or cook up a fish that they may have caught from above. So there's people in and out. There's a man working in the back. You can hear him kind of carrying some things around, shifting some of the weight around on the ship from when they dropped off their previous load of cargo. So it's the upper deck is very lively, men rigging up sails and pulling the anchor up and getting ready to take off on their journey. And the lower deck, you can tell, is like the guys who aren't really experienced enough to help run things in the upstairs. They're kind of bumming around down here, mopping up and doing whatever little busy work they can find.
I threw my backpack on the one of the bed that is up, like the highest one up, and I take the bucket and I go into one of the isolated room in the back of the ship.
Okay, so you go back and let me move you here.
A room where there's nobody here.
So you go back and you pass through this hallway here actually first, and you notice this big storage chest that's kind of sitting in the hallway, but you obviously are in a hurry, and you open up this door, and see that it's just like another little storage room, and it's kind of like a miniature kitchen here. There's like a pot on the fire, and there's some stuff going on, and there's nobody in here. You can hear people working in the rooms adjacent to you, but for now you have some privacy.
I go toward the chest.
What's that?
Was there people around the chest?
No, you didn't see anybody. You can hear the people working in the rooms around you, and obviously you haven't seen them, but you don't see anyone out in that main hallway.
I block the door that is where I hear the noise, and I go in the hallway. What is the chest?
Okay.
And I block the other door.
So these two doors above you are blocked now. You kind of just like moved some stuff in front of them.
I take a peek to see if there's people coming in the other hallway.
Okay. As you block this door and you're kind of like shuffling around, the rest of you guys, you know, and you notice that he kind of wandered off this way. What are you guys all doing?
I go and I go follow the direction that he left.
Okay.
Do I know which way he went?
Yeah. You saw him go up these little stairs towards the place that first mate Phil said you could go and find a place to do your business. So you can wander up the stairs towards him as well.
All right, go ahead and do that, and I see him skulking about like a.
Yeah. So at this point, he's like over here, leaning around the corner, making sure nobody was coming, and you kind of pop up as well.
I say to him just slow enough we can hear. I say, can we not steal right now? We kind of have to spend a large amount of time on this ship. And if something goes missing, and it's the 4 new guys, and it's kind of an easy pin, can we not? They all have swords.
I said, no stealing. I'm just looking. Is the chest locked?
So you can definitely there's only one way to find out. You can look at it and you can see like this image is very accurate. It's this big storage chest, like almost like something of like a fancy rich person would have in their room, like at the foot of their bed. It's like this big opening storage container.
I tried to open it.
Okay, you get closer to it. Or what are the rest of you guys doing while this is going on? Darrow, you're obviously up here now, so I'm guessing you probably would have wandered a little bit closer to him as well.
Yeah, I'm just keeping a lookout. You know, obviously I'm a guy of a criminal background, so you're not going to stop him.
Right.
I'm
Okay.
definitely going to be wary of what's going on around us.
Chad and Jinx, what are the two of you up to? Chad, you've been introduced to your new home for the next few weeks. Do you have anything going on right now? Are you checking out what these guys are doing, or?
Chad just says out loud, really loud, "Chad's hungry," and then he starts like walking towards the area where everyone else went.
Okay.
He's looking for the kitchen.
Okay. Jinx, anything going on with you?
Jinx is going
random bridge
to
too.
ignore the idiots who are going to get themselves in trouble. And lantern and, his lantern, and just lays down in the cargo hold area where he's going to be sleeping and just relaxes.
Okay, so you kind of just like set up your own little, you pick a corner here and you set up your spot and you start to just try to take this all in and relax a little bit and
distance myself from them,
get your mind off the craziness that's going on. So this is all happening. Chad's kind of making his way up the stairs and he's grumbling and saying, "Chad, hungry." And Goldu kind of looks over at Darrow and you lean down and open up this chest, and inside you see, one second here.
bad dragons.
Hang on.
Everywhere.
You see a little statue that looks like this. This is the closest I could get, and it's a statue that's laying sideways in this chest, and it's about the size of the chest. This chest is probably 3.5, 4 feet wide, so it's probably like Goldu. If you laid down on the floor, this would be the same size as you. So this statue that is equal to your size is like this stone, like I don't know what kind of stone it would be, like pewter stone statue laying on its side, and it looks to be like this impish humanoid figure statue that's laying in the bottom of this chest.
There's only that in the chest?
That is the only thing in there.
I close the chest, useless, and I go upstairs.
Okay, Darrow, are you doing anything? Chad, are you guys doing anything as this is happening?
Chad like attempts to open like the kitchen door, but it's like budged and like, but it opens like a crack, and like the smell like comes in, and then Chad's just like, "Oh, what happened in here? Chad's not hungry anymore," and he goes back.
Okay, so you guys are all kind of in here, and you've done what you wanted to do in here, and you all start to make your way out of here. But as soon as you close that chest and start walking towards the rest of the party and leaving this area, Goldu, the statue like grabs your hand from inside the chest and reaches out from inside and grabs onto you.
Did he open the chest?
Roll initiative.
What did you do?
Initiative.
This is why we can't have nice things.
So as this happened, it's all obviously Goldu, like he kind of like yelps a little bit. He just saw that this thing was like a stone statue, and he closed it back in this chest, and he yelps a little bit because he was a little surprised by this. So these three guys are standing in here. They all see this happen. Jinx, you kind of hear this and you're startled. What do you do?
I will poke my head out and pay attention to what's going on, but I won't like actively do anything.
Okay, you're standing at the bottom of the stairs, and you can kind of see what's going on in there, but you haven't like made yourself known yet. So this statue stands up out of the chest, and it's grabbing onto Goldu's arm, and it kind of stumbles its way out of the box, and is the statue of this maybe 4 feet tall like imp man with a spear, and it's grabbing onto Goldu. And what did everyone get for their initiative rolls?
Just clarification: is it aggro only on to Donald, or do we all do it from the
Shadows? Thank you for the 1 second, guys. Thank you for the follow. I don't know if you guys were watching the stream, but we just got a new follower, and my awesome new follower alert went off. Shadows lurking. Thank you very much for the follow. Hope you're yeah. All right, so Vampire King, will you roll initiative for me, please? D20. Kitsu, welcome.
Yeah.
And Samurai or Darrow, please roll initiative as well. All right, so let me. I have this monster's info here. Let me just get it pulled up. 1 second, guys. Good to see the D&D campaign going well. Yes, Kitsu, thank you very much. Shadows, thanks a lot. I appreciate that. Okay, guys, one moment here. So, Darrow, you asked if this thing was like aggroed onto everyone.
Yes.
So when when a monster surprises somebody, they get like a free, or when surprise happens on either side, then that person gets like a free round of combat and no other characters can act. And then initiative happens, and then people just begin to act in order of their initiative. So this thing obviously surprised Goldu, so it's going to get to act first, and then it will be the normal order of things. So after that, it will obviously be like quote unquote aggroed onto everybody.
Gotcha.
Make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So this kind of shambling statue pulls itself out of the chest, and it is grabbing onto old Goldu here, and it takes a swipe with one of its stone claws. It has a spear in one hand, and it lets go of Goldu and swipes at him with its claw. And it let me roll for it 1 second here. So this thing is going to do 8 slashing damage to Goldu.
Yikes.
Do I take 8 damage for my life?
Yep. So then
Okay.
after it hits you, it kind of slices you, and it cuts into your arm a little bit, and you feel this like really cold sensation where the stone hit you, and you now have to make a Constitution saving throw.
Still
D20, yep.
20. Right.
See, having a burglar is gonna get us into trouble.
Okay, so
Jesus.
so this cold feeling kind of sweeps over you, and where the claw struck your arm and sliced you open a little bit, that wound immediately starts to close up and heal up a little bit, and you are starting to feel a little bit sluggish and weird. But it is now, let me see who got the highest initiative here. It is now your turn, Goldu.
No, the 16 is a wrong.
Oh,
one.
you rolled twice? Okay.
Yeah,
So
I got 9.
Darrow, it is your turn. You saw all this go down. You see the statue kind of swipe at Goldu and cut his arm a little bit, and you're standing there, and it's your turn.
I think Darrow's gonna cast Thunderwave.
Okay. So let me 1 second here. You can totally do that. I forgot I was gonna bring up to you guys. I know a lot of you are newer to playing, and I haven't really gone over this before. But just to give you guys a little bit of help in combat and stuff like this, every turn you can both move and make an action, and then if you have any spells that say that they are a bonus action, you can also do that. So every turn you get to move, make an action, and a bonus action. And then when it's not your turn, you can also use a reaction if you have any abilities that do that. That's kind of like your instant speed abilities that you can use when it's not your turn. So on your turn, you can move, take an action, and then if that's all you can do, then your turn is over. You can move up to your speed, and you can break it up as much as you want. So yeah, you can move around, do whatever you want. If you move into the melee range of an enemy and then you try to move out of it, that enemy will get an attack of opportunity on you. So it kind of gets a free attack. So yeah, do you want to cast Thunderwave?
Okay, based on the spell, I have to move next to the monster thing. So I guess I step onto the other side of him.
Alrighty. So you want to come over like over here or down here, like below
Yeah,
him?
right the first time. That's fine. I don't want to be below that thing.
Okay.
Then I cast Thunderwave. I think I can just roll it from my sheet.
Will you? You probably can. Will you read the description of Thunderwave for us?
It's a self-range, so it's a 15-foot cube. It's instantaneous. It's a wave of thunderous force sweeps out from you. Each creature in the 15-foot cube originating from you must make a Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, a creature takes 2d8 thunder damage and is pushed 10 feet away from you. On a successive save, the creature takes half as much damage and isn't pushed.
All right.
In addition, unsecured objects and blah, 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 blah.
Thank you, Mikey. 1 second, and I'll tell you where this boat came
Unsecured
from.
objects are pushed 10 feet away.
So let me explain something, just because I think this is something that obviously your character would know, knowing this spell, and it's fair for you to know this. So the way that Thunderwave works, the cube that it creates, is not very... It doesn't make sense if you don't already know, but you would think it's like a 15-foot cube that you're like in the center of, but it's actually a 15-foot cube that is in front of you, whichever way that you want it to be facing. Do you know what I mean? So like where you are right now, let's say you're standing right here. Can you see on the stream, Samurai? Like you're standing right here. The cube would be like this in front of you, not like around you. So it hits all creatures inside that 15-foot cube. So that includes whenever the game says creatures, it means any character. So that's including your allies. So where you are standing right now, just as a heads up, it would hit like this.
Got you.
So that would mostly damage your friends there, which like obviously you're welcome to do that. I suggest against it. If you wanted to like just Thunderwave this statue, you could stand like right next to Goldu and cast it like this way.
I mean, if you would allow it, Dungeon Master.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's I figure like I haven't explained stuff like that so far, so like that is something you would have known before you like made your move, you know what I mean?
Right, so I'll go ahead and do that then.
Okay, so what do you roll for Thunderwave? It's did it say the enemies have to make, or all creatures have to make a saving throw?
Yeah, I have to make a Constitution throw.
Okay, so you don't actually have to roll anything for that. The character just has to roll to save against that, and your DC is 14, which like that's just how powerful your spell is. So his constitution has to be more stout than your spell. So it rolled a 1. So 2d8 thunder damage, is that correct?
Yes.
Pastor, welcome to the stream. Thank you so much. This boat map was created by Crosshead Studios. 1 second, guys. Crosshead Studios created a bunch of maps and was kind enough to allow me to use them for the stream. Check them out on Patreon, Crosshead Studios. They're super cool. Thank you for coming in. Okay, so it's 2d8 damage and it's pushed 10 feet away. Roll 2d8 for me. One second here. And it is, someone said that rock types are not good against, or thunder is not good against rock types, but this thing does not have any sort of immunity to thunder, luckily.
It's not Pokemon.
Yeah.
I ignore that.
So sometimes that kind of stuff will happen, but not right now. So it takes 15 thunder damage, it looks like. Sorry, guys, it's hard to balance all this stuff. So it gets hit by this wave of thunder and pushed back into the wall, and it slams into the wall, and its kind of spear arm side, you can see this crack like shatter down the side of its arm, and it falls off, and it's just smacked into the wall and kind of lurches itself back forward and looks like it's getting ready to kind of stumble back towards your direction, but it's hugely damaged as far as the statue portion of it goes. Who was next in initiative order? That would be Chad. Chad, sir.
All right.
You've seen all this happen. It's been slammed back into the wall, and it's now your turn to act.
All right. Chad wants to pound this gargoyle into dust. So he pulls out his warhammer.
Thank you for the follow. All right, so you've got your warhammer rocking and rolling.
Jinx will say during this that
Okay.
it's really not the best idea to break their ship.
Yeah, I'll stick it the same actually.
To break.
You should don't. You shouldn't break it. It's not ours.
Break it?
We can get in trouble. We are get.
Oh God.
Don't
Chad,
break
Kill
it.
it, Chad! Kill it! Avenge
Chad,
your man!
Listen to the Chad wizard. Listen to the Chad wizard.
So
Bad stuff happens.
Speak.
I pat Chad on the back and say, "Go get him, champ! It's your moment."
It's like signs swing
Oh
for the
my God.
fences.
We're gonna die.
Oh, that's a
We're gonna be tossed.
good reference there, Darrow. So Chad, it's your turn to act. Don't feel pressured either way, but you can definitely take their advice. But
Oh yeah, I rolled.
you do have to move towards him. So where do you want to position yourself here? You have 30. I think your movement speed is 30 feet, so you can move 30 feet per turn. Each one of these grid spaces you can count as about 5 feet. So you can definitely get up to him. You just want to go right in front of this guy?
Yeah.
All right. Oh. All right, so are you just going to take a swing at him with your warhammer?
Yeah.
You rolled a 10. Let's see what his armor class is. So when you roll an attack roll, you have to beat their armor class, which is essentially their defensive level. You have to beat that with your attack, and you did not. So you take this big hammerous swing with your warhammer, and you just kind of whiff and hit the wall a little bit, and it bounces off, and you are very shamed.
It's okay, Chad. We'll get him next time.
You said not to break the boat, so I.
That's why you swung at the wall. I understand.
So now,
Good job, champ.
in
We'll get him
initiative
next
order,
time.
it is Jinx's turn. What are you doing?
I will. Let's see. Right there.
That's a good question, random British dude. I think we'll find out what the crew is doing.
I'm just making sure I know what all I can do before I choose to do anything.
Sure, no worries. So Donald just asked, can you talk or do other trivial stuff when it's not your turn? And you can absolutely talk. You can talking
is free action.
Yeah, it's considered like a free action. You can talk even when it is your turn or whatever, and it won't take your turn. So yeah, you can definitely talk to people, including enemies, if you want.
Okay, I'm gonna cast Sanctuary on Goldo, which creature of my choice gets a +2 bonus to AC for the duration.
Very nice. Okay. Is that a spell or a cantrip?
An actual spell, yeah.
Okay,
I
nice.
just want
Yeah,
to let you know.
cool. Mark your spell slot off or whatever, and cast away. How does it work? The rolling.
It doesn't use it. Yeah, it's just a D20 plus my thing, so I absolutely failed that.
Okay.
So there go. Oof.
So you attempt to cast this spell on Goldu, and he's like, he's feeling a little weakened from taking that blow from the statue, and he's a little excited, and then the spell kind of just fizzles out, and he's a little bummed out. But now it is Goldu's turn.
Goldo, how much HP do you actually have, by the way?
Can I say it?
Yeah, you guys can say whatever you want, or if you don't want to say like the number if you just feel like being more in character, you can say like One thing like 4th edition D&D used to do is if somebody was like below half HP, they were considered bloodied, which was just like a good way to say that they're like over halfway dead. But you're more than welcome to say how much HP you has, especially to your party. It doesn't matter. I won't ever ask you, but they can tell you.
Guldu is Omega blooded. 1/4 away from death.
Okay.
So Guldu, go in the kitchen.
Okay. So you kind of break your little door barrier there, and you go this way.
It's already broken. Chad broke it.
Oh, he did. He broke it open a little bit. Okay,
And
so
I eat food.
you're gonna eat
to
food.
regain my strength.
Okay.
Not divinity, dude.
Definitely doesn't work, but you can definitely eat food if you want to.
And then I bandage myself. Or can I do that?
I don't think you can like actually do anything that's going to affect your health in any way. Maybe if you had like a really high medicine check, you can do stuff like that. But I think that's mostly to help other people. Like if somebody gets knocked out, you can use your medicine skill to make sure that they like wake back up. But I don't think you can actually like heal yourself other than with healing potions and spells and stuff. I will look into that, but I'm pretty sure that's how that works.
Can
You're
I
100% correct, Elder.
Okay.
can I throw my dagger or something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. If you didn't want to like go all the way inside, if you want to just like stand in the doorway, you can
Like
do a throwing weapon.
Throw one dagger.
Yep.
Here, take this.
Okay.
Oh, do I roll that?
Roll to hit. You can actually, I think you can click on the dagger in your character sheet, and I should be able to. It should roll it for you, I think. Nice. Yeah, absolutely. So you rolled a. How does that work? 25 to hit and 8 damage. Is that correct? Oh no, it rolls both. Okay, I get it. So what that did, for everyone in the chat, we're using Roll20, so it automatically rolls here. But the dagger, if you're 20 feet away and you throw it, you have like a normal chance to hit. But if you're anywhere between 20 and 60 feet away, you get disadvantage on throwing it. So yeah, you are 5, 10, 15, about 20 feet away. So that I'll count that as like totally just like a normal, like you would be able to throw that normally. So you rolled a 25. So you definitely hit roll damage for your dagger.
Just a question. Where is the 2 proficiency coming from?
Let's see. You should just start with the proficiency bonus, and then it will automatically go up over time, depending on your level. I think when you get to level 5, it goes up to +3, maybe level 3 or 4. I don't know. But
Yeah.
should be towards the top of the character sheet, I think.
Yeah. I just forgot.
But that's just like the general level of like anything that you're good at. That's how good at it you are as your character.
Didn't the 8 is damage? No.
I think the 8 is what your chance to hit would have been if you were 60 feet away, right?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
The 25 is your hit.
Is it the same damage in type as a normal attack?
Yeah.
I'm throwing?
Yep. I think so.
Okay, 5.
All right, so you kind of stand in this doorway, and you're pretty hurt. You're clutching the spot where that claw kind of raked over you, and you're still feeling a little hurt from that. And you pull out this dagger from where it was hiding in your robes, and you fling it across the room, and it lands right in where that crack in the statue was, and it splits it even more, and this statue just crumbles apart and falls on the ground and has been completely turned to dust. However, you let me see 1 second here. You must make one more Constitution saving throw.
Yep. D20, right?
Yes, sir. And then just just click on Constitution, I think. I'm not sure how it works, but just add your Constitution to a D20.
14.
Okay, the DC was 12. All right, you feel that cold feeling from where you're. I think he grabbed your arm, so like where he raked his claws across your arm, you feel that cold feeling creeping up, and you kind of like shake it off, and it starts to feel a little bit better. You're still definitely really wounded and hurt, but you don't feel that cold, like slow, sluggish feeling anymore, and you seem to be okay. And the statue has been destroyed, and it's just a pile of stone here, laying in the hallway.
Walk up behind Golden and smack him up the backside of the head.
Okay.
What the hell were you thinking?
Goldo.
That is not yours.
Bad
What is
Goldo.
wrong with you?
Chad gathers the pieces and tries to assemble them and then like puts them in the chest.
So Chad is kind of like scooping up dust, and now Chad is just like, your hands are kind of just covered in this like chalky, like dark stone dust, and there's like a pile of dust in the chest and like a small pile of dust like still on the floor. You kind of were just like, it's like moving sand around. It wasn't really very helpful, but you feel like you were helpful.
Chad, why don't you try freezing it and then putting it together?
Yeah, do some glue.
Well, Chad's almost done now, so might as well
Go
just...
back and take my my dagger back. Don't forget.
Yeah, good idea. Also, I'll just say this really quick. Like, I'll just assume, like, if you shoot something with a bow or you throw a weapon, like, after combat, I will assume that your character would obviously go and pick up their weapon. Like, I won't make you do that. I won't just, like, say, like, oh, you never went and picked up your dagger. You lost it forever. Like, I'm not going to be that guy, so no worries. So you guys finish this, and this gentleman here comes out from this back room where he's been hiding this entire time, and he says, what in the hell just happened, you guys? Are you okay? My name is Tim. I was working in the back, just hauling some cargo, and stopped into this little restroom type deal back here. I was just working on putting some things away, and I heard the commotion. What the hell happened? I didn't want to come out. I heard like a scream and monster growls. What was going on?
I want to cast a cantrip on Tim.
No, shh. It's my turn. I go to Vardin. I say, this boat is cursed. We need to leave right now. We are going to die.
So, Darrow, you're walking towards him, and Goldie, you say all that, and Tim like looks at you. He's like, a curse? That's bad luck to talk about a curse on a ship. Don't you know, man? And he says, but either way, there is no leaving the boat. We're in the middle of the sea, man. There's nowhere to go to. And he just kind of
dump the chest in the water.
He looks confused, and Darrow, he sees you walking towards him, and what do you do?
Actually, I want to cast Unseen Servant, and then I want to use the Unseen Servant to reopen the chest, open a few times and make it seem like it's haunted, and then I'm going to make it push Tim, and then Tim is probably going to be afraid and go tell Cap.
Okay.
Is that allowed?
So, what is... Read the spell to me really quick. Darrow.
All right, so basically, it's just like an invisible, mindless, shapeless force that performs simple tasks. It has an AC of 10, one hit point, and strength of 2.
Okay.
It can't attack.
I saw Jinx. I saw. So, do you have to make a roll to summon it or anything?
I don't think so. Nothing here says that.
All right. What is that spell called? 1 second.
Unseen Servant.
All right. So I'll just allow this to happen. Is this one of the level 1 bard spells that you picked for your character?
Yes, it is.
Cool. So you summon this.
This is a first level conjuration ritual.
Okay. It's a ritual?
Yeah, first level conjuration ritual.
What is the spell casting time of that spell, say,
A one action.
One action.
One action? Cool. All right. So sometimes a ritual will say it takes like a full minute or 10 minutes to cast. And if that's the case, obviously you can't do it just like in secret in a conversation. But if it's one action, then that's like an instant speed type of a thing. So you kind of
last an hour.
you kind of make a little quick note on your bagpipes while Tim is distracted by the stuff Goldie was talking about, the curse and things, and this invisible spirit is summoned inside this box, and it's flapping the doors closed, and all the while this is happening, Jinx is kind of just wandering away from you guys, like looking just dejected and really disappointed in all of you. And the chest is flapping open, and Tim looks at the chest and he's like, "Oh my god, is it cursed?" And you said you wanted it to push him as well?
Oh yeah, we're pushing Tim down the stairs.
Okay, so it pushes him, and he takes a little tumble down the stairs, and he immediately like gets up and freaks out, and he freezes for a second. He's like, "Oh my god, you guys are right. This thing is cursed." And while Jinx is making his way out to what you would assume is just go and find some sort of order in this chaotic nonsense, Tim blows past him and runs up the stairs to go and grab the captain and tell him that the ship is cursed. And he runs upstairs over to this side of the boat. Yeah, here there's another map. Look at that, it's amazing. And the captain is standing obviously at the wheel here and kind of overseeing things. The boat is just shoved off, and the captain, let me drag him back over here. he comes down. Tim goes and grabs him.
Coming down, the ghost trips him.
Trips the captain.
Hell yeah.
Okay, the captain, he's a very graceful man. Like I said earlier, he pretty much has the greatest like sea legs of all times. He kind of trips going down onto the bottom step, and he seems like he's gonna like lose his bearings, but he kind of does a little bit of a flourish at the end and lands on both feet, and he's like, "Damn, I always miss that step." And he just keeps going with Tim, and he's like, "So Tim, what did you call me down here for? I'm a very busy man trying to head back to Chance here." And Jinx, you are at the bottom of the stairs here, and you heard him finally say the name of the town that they're going back to for the first time, and Tim is still just like fumbling with his words, and he's like, "Sir, it's the chest. It opened itself. It's haunted. There's a curse." And the captain, as soon as he said anything about the chest, Hicks says, "Tim, what's the one thing that I told you when I gave you the duties to take care of the lower deck?" And Tim said, "Don't mess with the chest, sir." And Hicks said, "That's right, Tim. Now go back upstairs and tell Phil that you're going to be on the graveyard shift for the remainder of the journey here." And Tim immediately is just like devastated, and he says, "Not again," and he just runs upstairs, and he goes to tell First Mate Phil of his punishment for disobeying the captain's orders. And Jinx, you're now directly next to the captain, and he's noticed that you're down here.
Excuse me, Captain. I would.
Hello, Demon Man.
A tiefling, yes.
Sure.
I have no idea how to say this other than to just say it.
Glad you're enjoying it, Pastor.
Kind of.
As soon as he says that,
hang on.
Jinx.
I didn't hear what you said there, Jinx.
I said, I have no idea how else to say this to you other than to say it, but the other people who I came with broke your statue. I wasn't part of it. I had nothing to do with it, and I refuse to be part of this.
Hicks, he kind of interrupts you and starts to laugh and says, "Well, I feared the worst when I heard that the chest had been opened, but it's a poor sailor who rats out his own crew, and he kind of gives you a little bit of a glare, and then he
That would
starts
be true if
walking,
they were my crew,
and
but
he
as if
starts
I don't trust them.
walking towards the rest of the group, and he gives you a little bit of a wink as you say that. So, are you following behind him?
I'm still using unseen servant to open a chest.
It's still like flapping open and stuff. Hey, Buttery John, what's up, man? So he comes in and he sees there's obviously this pile of dust on the floor, and the chest has been opened, and Chad has these like ash covered dirty hands from trying to pick up this statue, and Hicks says, "Oh, lads, I guess I probably should have warned you not to screw with that. That's my fault. 1 second, guys. I got to drink some water." Says that's probably my fault. No worries. I can't expect you to have known, and surely anyone who was attacked by a stone cursed would defend themselves. So I understand. However, that is a piece of the cargo that we were bringing back home. So I am gonna have.
Toward the captain. I go toward the captain and I say, "What the fuck you doing? Trying to kill us?"
Hicks says, I do apologize for.
Why you leaving cargo unsafe? Not even a lock. I just open it to see if I poop inside. And the thing attack me. I'm almost dead. I'm gonna kill me. I need help right now. I want help. I need healing.
Hicks says, there's nothing to worry about. I apologize for all of this. I didn't expect that we would be taking on any other boarders. We haven't had any issues like this before. My crew usually does a great job of listening to me, and I should have explained things to you, that we are hauling this statue for a customer back home, and I should have mentioned it. I didn't think that you guys would have stumbled across it. I just wasn't thinking. I didn't expect you guys to be here. So yeah, that's my bad, guys, but nothing to worry about. I'm not upset at you. We will just have to see what my customer wants to do about it now that it's been destroyed. It's pretty hard to come across the stone cursed, as I'm sure you all know. Obviously you did such a good job of dispatching it. I'm sure you've seen them before. But yeah, that's quite the unfortunate situation there. We will see what happens, I guess, when we get back to town. For now, is everyone okay? Do you guys are probably starving.
I'm hurt. Heal me.
He says, well, we don't have any sort of magic users on board, but I'm sure
I'm right here.
And he looks back at you and he's like, of course. Not sure why you
Demon magic, yes. Heal me.
And Hicks kind of stands aside and says, well, go on then, heal the man. Let's get you all back in shape and have some food and get to know each other a little bit.
Why you don't have healer on the boat, by the way?
That's actually a pretty good question.
Yeah, go for it.
Why don't you have healer on the boat? You crazy?
Oh, Hicks says, well, we're a pretty stout bunch, and we don't normally get into this much craziness. We have.
Why do you wear a weapon then?
Well, we have to be prepared, don't we? But we.
Yeah, no healer.
We usually, if anyone gets injured, they just take light duty for a few weeks and try to heal up on their own. We don't usually resort to any witchcraft aboard the Man's Ruin. It's superstition that the crew has. They don't really like to have any magic users on board, but
Well,
yeah,
Can I get, like,
no magic,
break
but
after
you have
this?
this undone statue.
Well, what was that, Jinx? You want to take a break?
Can I take like a? Could we take like a 10-minute break?
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys are all in a good spot for that, let's. We can consider this a short rest now. During a short rest in D&D in the game, that's a period when your character gets away from the action, and you're essentially, if you make camp for a few hours or you get an hour or 30 minutes to take a break, you can take a short rest. Any abilities that specifically say that they recharge during a short rest will come back to you, and then you can use one of your hit die. If you have any hit die, you can see them on your character sheet. That's one die that is equivalent to like one level's worth of HP. You can roll that and it will restore that much HP to you. So I don't know if any of you guys have taken any damage. You should have been at full health at the beginning of the day. Goldu, you should be the only one that has taken any damage so far.
You can just assume I'll heal him and then we'll take a break.
Yeah, can Jigs heal me during the break?
That's fine as well. So, however, if
Yeah.
if you heal him with a spell, then your spell slot will still be used until the next long rest.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Then I won't. Then I won't heal him. I'll just let him suffer.
Okay. So
He was an idiot, anyways.
during a short rest, Goldu, if you want to roll one of your hit die on your character sheet, you'll heal by that much. If you want to do that now, just so we can get used to it and learn a little bit about that.
Did it work? Like 9?
Yeah, so your hit die is a D8 plus. Yeah, so you recovered 9 HP, so you can add that
Full
back to your
HP.
health. Nice. All
It's
right.
like my entire life pool right
Yeah, level 1 in D&D is very rough, and after the session today, you guys will be going up to level 2, and it gets a little bit better from here on out. Level 1 is very hard to balance encounters around, and players have very low HP, so it's been a little bit slow and kind of noob like, but
shoot.
things will be better. But all right, you should be at full HP, and if you guys want to take a quick break, I will go and restore my my water and stuff like that, and we'll be right back in.
I want Gulu to fish on the upper desk. We are making a break.
Okay, as soon as we get to it, I'll give you some good lore about that. But we'll be right back. I will take a break as well, and we'll try to be back in maybe 5 to 10 minutes.
See ya.
Maybe.
All right, everyone in the stream, I hope you're enjoying the show so far. Pastor Mikey, thank you so much for coming by, and thanks for the follow. Sorry it's hard for me to keep up with the chat a little bit while we're playing. I'm juggling many different things. I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. Random British Dude, thank you for being here as well. Buttery John. And no problem with the educational stuff. I'm a new player, and I know a lot of these guys are new players, so it helps me to explain the rules as we go, and if it helps you guys as well, then that's just icing on top. Thank you all so much for being here. David Winlow, if you're still here, I hope you're having a good time. I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be back in like 3 to 5 minutes. I'm just going to go grab some more water and maybe a quick snack, and then we'll resume for the last 45 minutes of the stream. Thank you so much for being here. Don't go anywhere.
So, the group. Arnold, Samurai King.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah. I wanted to point out that I'm acting the way my character would act because my character is neutral, and my character will do what it wants to promote its own freedom. So I personally wouldn't do any of that. Just know that it's nothing against you guys personally. That's just how my character acts.
Okay. I assumed as much, but I appreciate you letting us know.
Anytime.
Also, I'm not as unintelligent as Chad may make you believe.
Oh yeah, I knew that flat out, but I figured since my character's been such a dick.
Yeah, it's like a healer who doesn't want to heal. Like, nah. You know what?
I'm
Nah.
surprised that you guys are so trusting of each other.
Well, Chad's like pretty much living in like he's like wearing his
Yeah,
like
Chad's in
rose-tinted
his own little
glasses.
world. That's why I'm fine with Chad. But like, the group in general just like has no reason to trust each other and be a group other than to stay alive.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
I totally understand that. I can understand like your perspective.
Welcome back, everyone. It is like I'm like beaming with joy that I got back from my break and I come back and you guys are like actually talking about the game and stuff. I hope that means that you're enjoying yourselves.
I was pointing out that Jinx is doing things because that's what Jinx would do. I don't actually hate this group.
Right. I'm glad that you brought that up. I think that you are doing a fantastic job of like actually playing as your character. I hope that everyone knows that nobody has any bad feelings towards anyone here. I think it's going great as long as you guys know that it's all just a character.
I just realized that Jinx has been a dick this entire time. And I'm like, I should probably let them know that Jinx is just being Jinx.
hopefully you'll lighten up a little bit, but yeah, no worries. I know that you're just playing the character, so it's all good. Vampire, I think you're doing great as well. I hope you guys are just enjoying yourselves. I've been having a blast so far, and we're gonna just keep getting into cooler and cooler stuff. So as soon as everyone is fully back, we'll get back going here. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, having a great time. And yeah, I was just letting him know that like I'm not as unintelligent as Chad may make you believe.
Chad is the smartest person I've ever even seen, man.
Yeah, man, all day.
Chad is a champion.
Absolutely. Oh, this is a good time to mention to everyone playing. Obviously, you guys know, and everyone in the chat, we have changed the schedule. We will be playing weekly now. Officially starting today, we'll be doing this campaign weekly every Wednesday at the same time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern, U.S. time. So if you guys are enjoying yourselves, come back every week. And by the weekend of every week, the episode should be available to rewatch on YouTube if you miss it at any time. So you should be able to catch up before the next episode airs. So I'm super excited. Thank you guys for making room in your schedule to be able to play weekly. That means a lot. And I think it's going to be awesome for both the channel and it'll be good for the party. We won't have so long in between games where we can still remember what happened last week, you know?
And this is great.
Cool. I'm glad you guys are having fun.
And I'm back.
Welcome back.
Chad-sided.
I'm super Chad-sided. Samurai, how you doing so far, man? Are you enjoying yourself?
Oh yeah, I'm loving this.
Awesome.
I have to go relieve myself.
Oh, no worries. I was just telling these guys that I appreciate you guys making the time in your schedules to be able to play weekly from now on, and I think we're all super excited about it. So, thanks, man. Hey, Pringle, welcome back. Awesome. The war's still on, Pringle. You're going down.
Who's all here?
I think everybody except for Mr. Goldu is back, so we're just
back.
waiting. Hey, welcome back. Perfect timing. Look at that. Rogue-like perfect timing. All right, so as long as you guys are ready, we'll jump back into the game here. Had some medical to-dos. Didn't miss the stream. Did I Vex?
My orange vanilla Coke.
Oh, wow, those are new. How is that, by the way? Vex, welcome to the stream. You missed the first 2 hours or so, but we're still rolling here.
It's just a liquid dream.
Quick recap. I'm gonna do a quick, very quick recap of the current episode to everybody in the chat. So hold on for 1 second, guys. Okay. Vex, I don't know if you saw the recap of the party so far yesterday, where I was talking about everything that happened. So far today, the party woke up on the beach. They see the ship coming over the horizon. It ends up being this crew of sailors, 40 strong, being led by a man named Captain Hicks. He takes them on board, promises them passage to his homeland where he's returning to from a cargo mission. And they get taken on board. They have to stay down in the cargo hold. There's no free rooms left on the ship, and Captain Hicks went back upstairs to deal with his duties, and they were downstairs, and they got into a fight with a statue that came to life and attacked them, and now Captain Hicks has come downstairs to see what the commotion was, and that's pretty much where we're at. All right, so try to catch up everybody really quick for anyone that missed out. We should be caught up now and back in action. Hicks, he's kind of explained to you all what was going on, and he apologized for the attack on you, but he did make it seem like it was just a miscommunication error, and nothing was meant by it. And now he is inviting you to all come back towards the back of the ship and eat with him really quick in the little mess hall area and get to know each other.
I asked him if there's any other.
Vex is still MIA. We haven't seen Vex. What was that, Goldie? What did you ask him?
I asked him if there's other item that are cursing to the ship.
He says there's no curse. I promise that stone cursed was a it's a rare type of animated statue that used to be a living being that was cursed. Oh, 1 second, guys. I'm getting raided or something, I think. Firestar with the raid of 4 people. Thank you so much for joining in. Welcome, everybody. Realization, thanks for coming in from the raid. I appreciate y'all being here. He says there's no curse. That is just a rare item we were transporting. I promise there's no other dangerous items on the ship aside from me, of course. And he kind of smiles and makes himself really big and ridiculous looking, and then he just chuckles and he says, no, everything's fine here. And he just gestures back towards the mess hall and says, let's go restore our appetites and catch up a bit, shall we? Naive and
That's
Realization good. Firestar, welcome. Thank you so much.
Do you have raw meat and bones and gristle and all that stuff?
He said gristle. Oh, of course, yes. I'm sure we could make do with something we have here. And he kind of gathers you all back up around in the mess hall area. 1 second, let me drag everyone back there. So back here, there's a little bit more of like a private dining room area, and one of the crew is already sitting back here eating, and Hicks, as soon as he walks in the room, he's like, I don't remember saying that you could eat in here, and he jumps to attention and sorry sir, and just scrambles out the door before Hicks has the time to really get actually upset at this guy. 1 second. So Hicks says, all right, now that we have some time here, he pulls out these kind of storage ice chests and drawers, and there's already some food setting on the table, and he had some men bring in some rations for you from upstairs that they were already kind of enjoying up there. And there's food along the table, and there's some dried goods and meat, and there's some just tubs of gristle and fat that they used to kind of preserve things. And he kind of hands that to you, Jinx, and he says, hopefully this will suffice for what you were asking for. I don't know if we'll have any bones. We don't have much as far as fresh cuts of meat or steak or anything like that. So if you want any of this other food, be my guest. We might have a couple of stray rats with some bones on the ship, of course. And he sits down and offers you all a seat at the table, and he kind of says, so would you guys like to kind of get your stories straight this time and tell me what's actually going on here before we retire for the night? It's quite a long journey. It's going to be about a week and a half, 2 weeks before we get back to town here. I don't want anything to be obscured anymore for the rest of this journey. I want us to have a good working relationship for the rest of our travels.
I defer to Jinx with the talking scene, since this guy doesn't seem to be as bad as I thought he was.
Okay.
Well, first of all, Jinx will just hand Hicks the pear that he made fresh.
Oh, you
Whistle that
conjured some food.
oh, the pear that he made on the beach.
Oh, okay, okay. So you
Well,
still were holding on to that.
yeah,
Okay.
stuff besides raw meat and stuff. Um, hand him the pear in return for the food, and then be like, okay, so tell us where we're going. Why did you come? And yeah, just
Fire
be open and
starts
clear.
going really well. He appreciates that. He reaches out and grabs the pear and like he looks at it almost like sadly for a moment and kind of stares down at this pear and he just kind of like turns it over in his hand and he gets like his eyes start to mist up a little bit and he looks at you and says a peace offering. I appreciate this. I don't know the last time that I saw one of these. And he takes a bite out of it and just is like just blown away and he says well, that'll keep the scurvy away for a couple more weeks, won't it? And he kind of gets his composure back and he's like I really appreciate that. Well, I guess it might be a little confusing for you all to get your story straight here, so I'll give you a little bit of information about me. Obviously, my name is Captain Hicks. I come from the city of Chance. It's a glorious place if you know what you're doing, and if you're a man on a mission to make some coin, then there's no finer place in the world. And he takes a big swill of the ale that's sitting on the table here and slams it down, takes another bite out of the pear, and sits and thinks for a second. He's like, of course, you all would have heard of Chance by now. Where exactly were you coming from? Desert or not, if you had a ship or not. What's your goal here? You say you don't even know each other, and he finally asks your name, Jinx. He says Tiefling, as you said. What do I call you?
My name is Jinx.
He kind of chuckles at that. He
Nice
says,
to meet you.
Interesting. Interesting name. Well, Jinx, what is this party of you find strong young lads doing together in the desert or on the ship or wherever it is that you found us from?
Desert, definitely desert. Um, I'm from personally. I'm from Akitata. Atikita. Yeah, Atikita.
Is that an
Nice city.
actual
Beautiful
city
city.
in Forgotten Realms?
Yes, it is. Very
Okay,
much so.
cool. So he looks at you a little confused and says, I'm not familiar, but are you all from this place?
I wouldn't know. Akitaka is really, really big. But that's where I'm from. We kind of just woke up as two more of us, but they here right now.
He said, "Oh, you mentioned that earlier. These other two friends of yours, where did they go? They were taken by a man?"
Not really taken, more like there was a person who we found in the desert looking for stuff, like just scavenging. And he's like, yeah, I can take you to some place and you guys will be safe. But I only have a very small boat. So I can only take some of you. He took the wounded old man and the child.
Smart of you to not split up the party like that. However, I'm very confused. If this man said he only had a small boat and he was taking you to an island, there's definitely nowhere he could have gotten from that beach you were on that would have been anywhere close enough to row with a small boat. It sounds like you may have done well to not go with that man. That's very very peculiar indeed. I'm glad that you didn't set off with that strange man. It sounds like you could have been in some danger. He may have been trying to deceive you. Well, now that it's just the four of you, I'm not sure. I really don't understand how you could have been in that desert, let alone met another person scrounging through the desert. I've never known anyone to go there and make it out.
Oh, killed one of those two-headed dogs in there too.
And he
Fucking
looks
bothersome.
very shocked when you mention a two-headed dog. He says, "What in the world are you talking about? Two-headed dog?"
It's like a two-headed. Well, I can't really call it a dog. It was like
Hey, Timmy, what's up, man? Welcome to the stream.
thing with two heads, and it was just big. Not really big, but just meaty and gross, and it was bothersome.
He takes
The
another
camel that I'd be like
really
8.
long drink of this ale and says, "Well, this just further proves my point that that desert is no place for men to go and even attempt at survival. There's strange things that happen there, and it's nothing but a wasteland of death.
Captain X,
No one stays there. Yes, Jinx."
do you make of this note? And then he'll pull out the note that he got from the chest, and he will slide it over to him.
He takes a look at it, and he's kind of munching on the rest of this pear and spinning it around while he reads this note, kind of looking it over, and you can see he's kind of mumbling to himself a little bit, and he's very confused. He's even like feeling the parchment that this note was written on, and he's very, very intrigued. Like, he says, "Where did you happen to come across this, my friend?"
Vex found a chest in the desert, and
Vex,
that note
is
was
this
in that chest.
Vex is the man that took your friends?
The slaver, the
Yeah.
slaver.
It was in the chest.
What else was in this chest that you found?
Well, Vex himself removed some objects, and we never got to know what those objects were.
Interesting.
But the money, there was some gold in there.
Gold.
This note and an inkwell.
Wasn't interested in the money, by the way.
A man not interested in money. Fascinating.
Yeah,
Hold
I took his bow.
Ah, yes, that is a nice
Sure.
bow. And like I said, that bow was definitely not made anywhere around here, so he couldn't be living anywhere near the desert. They have no fine craftsmen that could make such a bow. This note is very interesting. It seems like there are people maybe who were coming from the other side of the desert trying to make it through, but that can't be
That
possible.
brings me to another very, very interesting point. Do you know where we are? Do you know this country? Do you know this, general place? Because Vex act as if this is just one giant ocean and scattered islands and...
Captain Hicks, he sets down his drink and he says, "Where we are? Of course, boy. We're in Anhef, the only world we have. What do you mean? Where are we? You men make no sense to me." And he takes one more look at the note and he folds it back up and he says, "I'm going to hang on to this," and he slides it in his coat pocket and he says, "When we get where we're going, the man who I think might be able to set some of this straight, I think he might want to take a look at this and he might know what's going on." And he kind of says, "Excuse me," and he slides out his chair a little bit and he says, "I'm going to have to go back up and check on the men upstairs, and I'll send Phil down later to make sure you guys are doing okay. But for tonight, let's postpone the rest of this talk, and we'll continue in the morning." And he kind of shuffles off, and he looks very, very concerned with everything that you guys have said, and he looks a little bit more confused than he even was when you started, but he does seem a little more worried. And he kind of wanders off upstairs. I'll just shove him off screen. Boop. And you guys are left to kind of take your time and enjoy the meal, and if you'd like, you can maybe go over some of the events that are going on with each other now. This is kind of the first moment that you've had that you're not in immediate danger. It seems, even when you stopped on the beach, you weren't quite sure what was going on. You hadn't had any time to really stop, sit down, and think about what was going on and talk to each other. So now, if you'd like to do that, you guys are more than welcome to. Just out of the game for a moment. I'm not going to make us play through every single day on this 2-week ship voyage. We are, by the end of the session tonight, we will be off of the ship. So this is the point in the video game where it says, like, you can hang out and kind of talk to everybody, but when you're ready, press OK, and time will advance. So you guys can take your time, finish the meal at the table here that Hicks has laid out for you, and converse with each other, and then we'll move on.
Okay. Jinx will kind of stand and as a whole. Could I get all of you to for a second?
Get everyone to do what?
Sit down and talk for a second.
Okay.
Just have a real honest conversation with everyone.
So while this was happening and Jinx and the captain were kind of going over the events and having this like pretty serious tone conversation, Darrow, Goldu, and Chad, you guys were all sitting here like you've been exhausted going through the desert and dealing with this crew, and like this has pretty much been like 48 hours straight with very little rest and very little nutrition or sustenance at all. You've been just like scarfing down this food, and the only thing you've eaten since you woke up in the desert was this camel and some conjured water, and you now have actual food, even if it's a little bit of dried like ship food. So what are you guys thinking and talking about with each other now that you actually have a moment to chill out and relax a little bit?
I asked Jinx why he didn't tell us about the letter.
The letter had no real importance. It had no real importance. It wasn't to any of us. It didn't have any secret things. It was a father talking to their child.
Treason?
Then this is not
Me too,
a kingdom,
Vex, me
and
too.
you're certainly no king.
He didn't help me. I go upstairs and I fish.
So
no, I take the black man with me.
You are just a heretic, you little man.
I ask the black man to come with me.
I guess I'm the black man.
So
there is black in the game, yo.
There is a darker skinned half elf man next to you.
Yay! I take the musician with me.
So Goldu kind of darts an eye your way, Darrow, and you kind of know that he wants to split from this this snooze fest of a meal and maybe go get some fresh air upstairs and scope out the rest of the ship. Are you gonna go with him?
I'll just say, be back. I'll be back, guys, and I go upstairs.
All right, so you guys kind of wander off upstairs. Chad and Jinx has just asked you to sit down and talk for a second. Chad, you're scarfing down this food faster than anyone else could even imagine, and you look up and Jinx is asking you to sit down and kind of go over everything that's going on right now. And what are you thinking?
All Chad knows is that he's terrified of this new curse in this chest, and that he does not want to sleep on the same floor as this chest for the life of him.
Okay, so you're still worried about the ghost chest that the stone cursed came out of.
Definitely. He's just like nervously kind of like looking at everyone, just like eating as much as he can.
Okay. So Jinx, do you can see that Chad is a little bit distraught and still freaked out. What are you doing now, Jinx?
I'm waiting for everyone's answer. I asked to talk. I'm not one to be ignored.
Well, it seems like Goldu and Darrow definitely ignored you, and they kind of just left to go do their own thing now. and Chad is a little freaked out, but he's still he's paying attention to you. So if you have anything to say, you can.
Can I ask where you come from?
Chad?
Yeah.
Chad, he comes from a cold place, and where Chad comes from, Chad's the best at everything. Chad wins everything. Chad's a part of everything, and everyone wants to be Chad.
I just want to say I love this so far. What is Jinx's response to this?
You know why we are here.
Yeah, because we're going to the tournament in the island, I think. Yeah, something like that.
Why do you trust everyone here? What is your purpose for being part of this group?
Well, I mean, they could have taken a swing at Chad because they're jealous of how Chadly he is, but they never did. So they're probably just my lackeys without anyone telling me that they hired them for me. Are you my lackey?
Pretty quality Chad
I'm not
logic.
your lackey, Chad. Chad, you are a nice guy, and I think you're chill, but I am not your lackey.
I love that.
Oh, man. But you'll still heal me, though, right?
Of course, if you need healing, I'll heal you, Chad.
Okay, cool.
I'm having an issue here.
Okay.
I see no real reason to be part of this group. Other than to get back to where I came from.
How do you want Chad to help?
I want Chad to keep an ear out. Going
Keep
on.
an eye out.
Yes, I want Chad to see if he can find Chadley secrets.
Chadley secrets? You couldn't have asked a better Chad. I'm on it.
Thank you, Chad. I appreciate that.
Secret Agent Chad on the case.
A friendship is forged. I love it. So you guys are kind of talking about all this stuff and opening up to each other a little bit and kind of talking about your lack of motivations to really understand any reason to trust the group, which makes total sense from your point of view, Jinx. I totally understand. And these guys are off and they've decided to go and check out the upper deck, and Goldie wanted to maybe do a little bit of fishing to relax a little bit. So you guys go up top. Let me see if I can move you over to the other side. Oh, I can. You guys are just flying across the sea here. All right, so you make it up to the upper deck here, and you see some crew members. This guy's climbing up and working on the sails and stuff. Here's the stack of those little rowboats where they came and picked you up from. There's some people working and rigging up the weapons and just making sure everything is working properly. And the captain is not in the ocean. He's back in his post here, back to work. First mate Phil here, standing by the captain's side with his glorious little doggo there. And you're just kind of checking things out. You can easily see that the water is pretty clear and calm, and you could fish off the side if that's what you wanted to do. You can do whatever you guys want to do.
So what do you want, Golda? Golda?
Hopefully you're still here, Goldie.
Psst. Come to me. Come to me, Daru.
Standing next to you?
Closer, you are too far out in the sky.
You want me to duck down?
Come closer to me, you giant.
All right, you guys are like right. You lean down like right next to him now.
What do you want?
I climb to something, a bucket.
Okay.
Nicely. fellow businessman. You hear the captain, right?
No,
We're
what are you
going
talking
to a
about?
big city. Chance, he said. Load the money to make. I know you are fellow companion. You sell good, right? You make money.
This is true?
You see, he keep secret ancient stuff to sell in the chest. Maybe there is some other stuff here that is valuable. We can maybe make money, you know.
As much as I like money, Goldu, you almost died. Like, you actually almost died.
Shh, it's the past now. We need to plan the future. We are in deep trouble. Without money, we cannot. We, we need money.
I agree. I have a large debt I need to pay off, but I'd rather
Oh,
not perish on the sea. You understand what I'm saying here?
we can use the two other. They are weak-minded. Chad is retarded, and Jinx is a demon. Nobody we trust him. Demon bad, redskin. If you like Chad, you can keep it as a pet.
This
I
I
is
think you
do.
can
I do
even
like the
cut his
chat.
tail. It will regrow. You know, it's like a lizard. If you cut the tail, it regrow. So you can make benefit from it. You can sell the tail.
I
It's
think they
business,
go
my
for a
friend.
lot. Yeah. I don't know if he
Yeah.
just. Have you seen him? He's pretty big. I don't know if you can take him.
Nah, it's easy. Like a little drop of poison, little sedative. You know, easy peasy. Then you muzzle him.
he
You can
goes
even use
away.
it as a fridge. He has cow power. You can use the demon as a vending machine.
I think dragons or dragon can have a pretty high constitution. I don't know if regular poison's going to affect them too much.
She's retarded, like I said. He will eat until
As you
he
guys
dies.
are whispering about your gold plotting ideas and stuff, the captain who's manning the wheel up here, he sees that you guys have come up onto the upper deck and yells down, "Hey boys, come on up here and join me for a moment." And he waves you up here to talk to him, and you guys obviously oblige as he is the captain of the ship.
I slap the back of my fellow Darrow in the back, say, think about it, my friend. Money and glory.
All right,
So you
Goldu.
guys get up onto the captain's like whatever this I know there's a name for this in like ship speak wherever the steering wheel thing is at, but you guys get up here and this little hound dog that was hanging out by first mate Phil is kind of wanders up to you and is kind of smelling you guys and wondering if you have any spare food and just kind of begging and being a pretty friendly little hound dog and
Give him a piece of meat, and I climb on its back.
as soon as you try to climb on its back, it just like sits down and like kind of slumps away from you, and it just slinks off with the meat and goes and sits in the corner. Yeah, that's a good idea. Vex says it's maybe called the helm or the bridge wherever you guys are standing at. That's a good idea or a good thought. Probably correct.
And I ask the captain, what do you want to kill us with now? The dog? The wheel?
He really finds a lot of humor in that, and he says, "I promise none of the remaining figures on this ship will spring to life and attack you. I can guarantee it. I apologize again, but I'd like you boys to know that the city of Chance is a very interesting place, and it seems like from my conversation with you and your compatriot Jinx downstairs that you may not have ever been there before, which is surprising to me. It's probably the greatest city in all of Anhef, and it's very interesting for newcomers. What do you do for your wage, for your life? What's your profession, the two of you?
I'm a merchant, businessman like you. By the way, I will need to meet the buyer that was interested in buying the statue. I maybe have something that is interesting to.
You will absolutely be meeting my client. I'm sure he'll want to talk to my mysterious passengers, and I'm going to have to explain myself in damaging the cargo. So I'm sure we can arrange that. What about you, my elven sailor friend? What do you do? Obviously, you're a man of the sea. What was your profession?
Well, I've like my bullshit talk on a word, but my profession, obviously, I sailed.
Of course,
I wasn't a mercenary like you guys. We kind of,
businessman.
my people were just businessmen. I'm sorry, didn't mean disrespect. My people just kind of lived on an island, and we kind of defended ourselves and lived our entire life like that. But I broke away from that, and I wandered around a few cities, got into a few things, and now I'm here.
He really perks up at that, and he says, I can relate to that, my friend. The boring life is not one for an adventurer such as ourselves. Am I right?" And he looks around his ship, and he kind of points out a few of the cracks and the molding and like sea soaked wood of the old ship, the man's ruin, and he says, "I've been captaining this ship for longer than most of the crew on board have been alive, and it's taken me all over this dangerous and destructive world that I've never seen anything quite like the group of you coming out of the desert and confusing the hell out of me. But I'm fascinated, and I can't wait to get to know what's really going on here. And this old sea dog, I think this is going to be an interesting story to tell, and I have many, and this should top the charts of the interesting tales. What are you all hoping to do? If you don't know where we are, you say you don't even know the name of the land we're in. What are you trying to do? Are you just trying to find a place to stay, a place to go?
Well, I guess we should ask you first. Clearly, you're not going to let us walk away from this. We kind of owe you a great deal at this point. So the question
Oh
is,
no, you don't owe me anything, of course.
Well, maybe not you, but we definitely owe whoever contracted you a good bit.
I only work for the fairest of noble and respected buyers and businessmen of the city of Chance. It's a city of many factions and types of folk, and they often want me to procure certain strange or rare items for their collections or their various uses. It's quite the interesting town. There's a lot of chaotic, interesting things happening, and they are all very well versed in business, and they know that these things, they aren't always guaranteed. So I'm sure they will be nothing but fair when we get back and have our little meeting with them. Don't you worry.
With that said, I guess my goal is to maybe find a seaworthy vessel and figure out exactly where we are.
A noble desire, and I'm sure I would feel the same if I was in your position. It is a little tricky to get a hold of quite as beautiful a ship as Man's Ruin, but maybe if you spend enough time in Chance, then fate may smile your way, and you may find something to your liking there.
Is there a chance your benefactors could supply us with a ship?
He really strokes his mustache and is really thinking about that one. He takes a second and pauses, and he says, "Well, that's a good question. I can't speak for them, obviously. Everything that's come to me has been through the fortune of the great people that I've done business with, but it's difficult to say. They aren't often one to give something without getting some time and work in return. You may be fortunate enough to work up to that position, but you'll definitely have to start at the bottom, he says, and then he kind of takes his eye back onto the wheel and turns it a little bit and shakes his head and turns back to you, and he looks like he got a little caught off guard there by the way that conversation went. He kind of closes himself up a little bit.
I say jokingly, there's nothing wrong with a power bottom.
He just looks at you confused, like he kind of readjusts his hat a little bit and just blinks at you like, what?
Nothing.
First mate Phil, actually, when you say that, you see him standing behind the captain. He kind of like raises an eyebrow, like, I heard that. So you guys have essentially concluded your conversation with Captain Hicks. He's sort of turned back his focus towards steering the ship, and he's discussing with his first mate their course. He's trying to steer. He has a long journey ahead of him. It's a lot of navigating, and it's just a big open sea, and he wants to focus back on getting you guys safely back to Chance. So he kind of waves you off and he says, we'll catch up later, I'm sure, and make yourselves at home, and kind of ushers you back away.
Before I go, I say, Phil, you mind meeting us downstairs a little later?
He says, yes, of course, I'll be down to check on you momentarily once I finish up some duties down here, or up here. I will make sure you're all at home before it's time to tuck in for the night. And they both are kind of preoccupied for now, and you're free to go back down if you want.
So Gordo, I have an idea. It seems that it was Phil, right? Phil?
Yeah, first mate Phil.
First mate Phil
named
is,
after our good friend Flim in the chat here.
It seems that Phil is inquisitive, I'd say, and I have an idea.
Yes.
You guys want to go downstairs and wait for the first mate to come and check on you guys?
Yeah.
Alrighty. So it's probably been a good, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes. You guys kind of wandered upstairs, looked around the deck for a while, and these two have gone back to their quarters here. I don't know if Jinx and if you and Chad are still hanging out and talking or whatever. You're kind of settling in. Jinx has already set up in this corner up here.
Kind of just walking around holding his green lantern with his tail as he just wanders about.
Oh, cool. I like it. So it's like is it a like prehensile tail? You can totally control it, or is it just kind of like you can just set your lantern on it?
I can do things with it.
Nice.
And Chad just looks at Jinx with his lantern. He sees it as like a nightlight, and he's just like, Jinx, please don't let the gargoyle get Chad in his sleep. Chad's got soot on his hands. And he looks down at his hands.
Chad is like PTSD.
It's still terrifying.
A little statue came to life.
Can't get over how bad he missed.
So
that too.
So Goldu and Darrow, you guys show back up and you witness this little funny conversation, and you're kind of setting up your bunks as well and getting everything ready to go for the rest of the evening. It's getting pretty late. It's been a couple hours of getting ready. The crew had to pull up the anchor, and you've been sailing for a few hours now while you fought this battle, and you ate some food with the captain, and you've gone upstairs and kind of explored a little bit, and you're settling down. And yeah, as he said he would, first mate Phil is coming in to check on you guys. You hear him kind of lumbering down the stairs like he doesn't really want to be doing this. As always, his general mood is that he's kind of a lazy guy, but he just is collecting a paycheck, and he seems like he's like friends with the captain, and that may be how he got this job. He's not really particularly that skilled, but he does things even if it's begrudgingly, and he comes around the corner to check on you guys, and he says, hello lads, how are you finding your quarters? I know you had a little bit of a scuffle earlier, but hopefully things are a little calmed down now.
I go, first mate Phil, and I kind of clap him on the shoulder to make sure I'm in contact with him.
He looks up at you, and he's a pretty portly little kind of pot-belly short guy, bald, and he's taken his bandana off now. He's just looks up at you. Yeah, what can I do for you?
So just talking out of character. My plan is to become friends with him using a spell called Friends. Obviously.
Okay.
I know it's more of a battle spell, looks like, but
what was that?
I know it looks like it's more of a battle spell, but can I use?
You can cast spells out of combat. Yeah, absolutely. Read the description to Friends to me.
It says, for the duration, you have advantage on all charisma checks directed at one creature of your choice that isn't hostile towards you.
Sure.
The spell ends and the creature realizes that you use magic to influence his mood and becomes hostile towards you.
Okay, so what is the duration of that spell?
Up to 1 minute.
Okay, so I will just explain this to you out of game again really quick. If you cast that on him, after 1 minute, he will know that you like tried to charm him, and he will not be happy about it.
That's fine.
Like hostile, not be happy about it is what I'm getting at here. Like when an enemy knows,
he's gonna want to fight.
When a character knows that you tried to charm them, that's essentially like they feel like you tried to like mind control them. You know what I mean? Like he'll wake up out of this like kind of little presence that he felt and just immediately feel like he doesn't know what spell you cast on him, but he'll think that you like you're trying to cast magic at him, which is not okay, especially on this ship where they already don't really allow magic users. So be aware.
So you're saying bad idea. Okay.
No, you more than welcome to do whatever you want. I just want to explain just how the mechanics of charming people works.
The ramifications of doing
anytime you charm somebody, when the effect ends, 90% of those spells are going to make the unit hostile towards you.
All right. Well, can I just roll like a charisma check for
you can absolutely do that. So what do you want to say to him, to instead of just saying like you're going to roll for charisma? What exactly do you want to try to say to this guy?
I'm basically just going to try to have sex with the guy. Phil.
Okay.
Phil, you look a little stressed out there. You know, mind going back to your quarters and talking it over? Huh? What?
He he kind of raises an eyebrow and he's like, I did hear what you said earlier, and I was wondering about you, Mr. Darrow.
What's there to wonder about?
Roll a what is that going to be? I guess it's going to be charisma for sure, but what's the skill? Hang on.
Seduction, maybe?
Yeah, there's not an actual like seduction skill, but it would be
persuasion, maybe?
Probably persuasion.
But it's off charisma too.
Deception.
Yeah, it's probably persuasion. So, yeah, roll persuasion check, Darrow. All right. So.
No, it's not team, it's me. I click. I just wanted to see the.
It's a D20.
I mean, you could also technically call it nature because it's like a sexual act.
That's I could see an argument for that, Jinx. That's a good point. I'll keep that in mind for future occurrences of this. Yeah, D20 plus your. So if you click on your persuasion on your character sheet, it should let you roll it off of there, I think. Okay, so you as soon as he came around the corner, he he asked how you guys were doing and all that, and you sauntered up to him and you like put a little extra like swagger in your step and you clapped him on the shoulder, and you said, you know, how about we go back to your room, Phil? And he said, you know, I was wondering about you. I think you got the wrong idea about me, buddy. And he takes a step back and he kind of looks at your bagpipes and he's like, "You're just not my type, unfortunately." And he kind of just brushes himself off a little bit and he says, "Anyways, if there's anything I can get you guys, the captain said I had to kind of take care of you guys while you're on the ship, but if there's anything you need, let me know."
Oh, I need a lot, Phil. A lot.
He just gives you another like really kind of disturbed look and takes another step back around the corner towards the stairs.
Suit yourself, Phil.
He's like, "Well, I'll
Dad, why don't you try?"
He says, "Unless you guys need anything else, I'll bid you good night, and I'm gonna get the rest of the crew switched over to the graveyard shift, and then we'll talk in the morning." And
asking, what is the graveyard shift?
he says, at night we switch over to like a skeleton crew of men, just a few men running the navigational systems and making sure everything's okay, and we have one lookout, and then the rest of the crew gets rest, and the graveyard crew just works throughout the night. And it's pretty well known as the bad shift because that's when you have to clean up after everything that happened throughout the day. As you saw earlier, our young friend Tim, he's essentially the most inexperienced member of the crew. He's just joined us last time before we left on this mission, and he's stuck on graveyard, so I'm going to go get him to work, and then I'll probably hit the hay myself. So,
mind if I come with?
He says, "Yeah, sure. You can come and take an eye on things and see how we do the shift change around here and get everything switched over for nighttime navigating, and I think that'll be fine." And he kind of escorts you upstairs, and he'll show you around a little bit and stuff. We are gonna have to end it here for today. We'll be back next week, but essentially this is the end of day 2, I would call this here. So you guys can stay up, check out the night shift or whatever, or go to bed or whatever. But when we come back, we'll resume the next morning.
All right.
Okay. I was. Okay.
Yeah. Chad's eyes went wide. when he
Obviously,
said
if you
that.
guys had plans on anything you wanted to do, Jinx, that's fine. You can do that when we resume next time before we skip ahead to the next day or whatever. That's totally fine. If you had anything you wanted to do, I'm not trying to rush you,
really?
but we can figure it out next time.
Trait.
No, I'm good.
You guys all good? Any questions about anything?
Hydro and neck.
Nah, Chad just wants to survive the curse.
Do need to rest.
All right. So I think we're gonna end it there. I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves.
Immensely.
Cool. Yeah,
Heck
we'll
yeah.
be back on next Wednesday, and we'll pick up where we left off. And I think it'll be great. You guys are gonna be excited to continue our journey and get to the city of chance, which will be unveiled in the next session. So I will sign out of the Discord now and say goodnight to everyone in the stream, and then we'll be done. So I'll see you guys next week. Thank you again so much, all of you. Thank you for being a part of this and for playing. You guys are doing great. I think you're all getting the hang of this really well, and it's a lot of fun. So thank you all, and we'll see you guys next time.